welcome to Have I Got News For You? I'm Bill Bailey. In the news this week, at a Labour conference hotel breakfast bar, some disappointed customers are told that the honey nut loops are all gone. On his first proper skiing holiday, Prince George is allowed to bring along his working-class school friend. And in Paris, the Irish Olympic team present organisers with a last-minute suggestion for a new games format. It's genius. On Ian's team tonight is a journalist who once wrote an article entitled "What Happens When a Joke is Followed by Silence?" And looking at the audience tonight, I don't think it'll be long before we find the answer. So, please welcome Helen Lewis. And on Paul's team tonight is a comedian who last appeared on this show opposite Helen Lewis with guest host Bill Bailey. Sorry, for a minute there, I thought I'd nodded off during a very long recording. Please welcome Daliso Chaponda. So, we begin with the bigger news stories of the week. Ian and Helen, have a look at this.
Oh, local elections, Boris being arrested.
There's a winner. Oh, and there's a loser.
Yeah, that's Rishi. I've won one seat.
And that's a defector.
Somebody forgot to cancel their Green Book subscription, I see.
Yes, this is the news that a number of female mayors has for the first time overtaken the number of mayors called Andy. So, what did nobody see coming?
Well, everybody saw a Tory rout coming, and it was indeed a Tory rout. They lost 500 councillors. They lost the West Midlands mayoralty. They lost the Blackpool South by-election. And they lost their passion for life, Bill.
And at the end of the evening, the Lib Dems had won more councillors than the Tories. Now, that's bad.
And they had a sort of defection as well, didn't they? Yeah.
They did.
Natalie Elphicke.
Yes, let's have a look. Yeah, there she is.
At the last minute, just before Prime Minister's question time, she defected. She crossed the floor, which is amusing because she's the MP for Dover and she's used to people crossing her.
And also, she was about as welcome as a surprise visit from Matt Hancock.
Well, you sound like you're speaking from experience, sir.
A lady never kisses and tells.
Of course, no.
But it was a surprise because she's defected to Labour and she's not a sort of centrist Tory. She's a sort of right-wing headbanger.
Yeah.
She was a member of the European Reform Group.
Right.
She's really not considered anywhere near the Labour Party.
It doesn't seem to make any sense, does it? Because also she says she's going to be standing down at the next election, which will be in a few months. So why is she doing it?
Is she actually defecting or is she a mole?
She's only an MP because she took the job over from her husband because he was arrested and then found guilty of various sexual offences. But not only did Natalie Elphicke, after her husband was found guilty of these crimes, she took on the seat and she also had a go at the victims. And said they were asking for it. And then she and some other MPs tried to nobble the judge by writing him letters. Ooh, Helen's just thinking nobble is a bit strong, isn't it? They made representations to the judge.
To influence his decision?
Yes.
Go on, say it. Say it, go on.
And she also said that her husband was, quotes, an easy target for women around.
Because he was attractive.
Yes, after he'd been convicted. And she has now apologised for that.
She only apologised today.
Yes.
Bit late. So she's not top recruit.
No.
For a party. I mean, if you were Keir Starmer, you could have said, that's lovely, but no.
Yeah. This might be awkward for Shadow Chancellor Rachel Reeves.
They had a spat over Marcus Rashford, the footballer, and his campaign for free school meals. And I believe she said that Natalie Elphicke could F off.
I think that's the words here. Fuck off.
Thanks for printing it out, because I had no idea what you were referring to.
No, that's right.
The words are there now. We can...
Dotting the I's, crossing the T's.
Exactly.
Yeah. And this might also be awkward for Keir Starmer as well. Why might that be?
He just looks a bit of a soft touch.
That's actually a very apposite description because Natalie Elphicke has, in the past, repeatedly called him Sir Softy. And this is how the Sun newspaper imagined that.
Like a sort of 18th century ice cream.
Yeah. That's right.
That's Elton John going to a party.
Keir Starmer's theory is that he needs to get all kinds of people to vote Labour, so getting the most bonkers right-wing person possible to join the party, he can show what a broad church
You
they
see...
are. Could be you.
It could be you, yeah, slightly to the right of Goebbels. Yeah, so anyway...
Aren't they little furry creatures?
Yes, that's right. So, yeah, we're going back to the elections, right?
Yes.
And what happened to one of the Andys, Andy Burnham?
He did well.
Yes.
Perfectly boring re-election, steamed it, never in question.
He's been re-elected as King of the North. Look at this. Hey, there he goes. Oh, no, you see. Oh, who'd have thought an older man dancing would be embarrassing like that?
But what's interesting is they've obviously had two separate choreographers.
Yes. Shocking behaviour. There was a shock recount in the West Midlands mayoral contest with the the Tory incumbent, Andy Street, and luckily a third Andrew Mitchell, was unruffled.
Is Andy Street going to lose? Where do you think it is?
Well, we know there's a recount, so we know either that Andy Street has won or that he has nearly won.
That's good, yeah.
This is the option.
I like that.
Laura Koonsberg shared on social media a bit of, well, she seemed to have some insight into the mayoral election.
Yes, it's going to be a very tight London mayoral election.
Oh, yes, she was talking about Sadiq Khan and Tory mayoral hopeful and possible crackpot Susan Hall. She said in a tweet, "No votes have been accounted yet, so hold on to your hats, but it's clear tonight that the race is much, much closer than some polls had suggested." But, in fact, it wasn't. This was Sadiq Khan's victory speech.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, London. Go and kill London! Go and kill London!
That was the Britain First candidate, who was beaten by a bin.
There's a lot of Count Binface supporters in tonight.
And further north, who has become the keeper of the Scottish Seal?
John Swinney.
John Swinney, yes.
Swinney, yes.
Yeah.
He's already had one go at it, and it worked out so well, they've got him back again to be head of the SNP again.
Yes, it's John Swinney, you're right. He's been sworn in as the new First Minister of Scotland and is now keeper of the Scottish Seal. Here he is. That's him, just about to make a couple of waffles. And what has reluctant taxpayer Nadeem Zahawi announced this week?
He's announced that he's going to be stepping down at the next election, and in his resignation letter he said that every morning as he shaves his head, he thinks about his duty to his country.
Have you ever thought that?
I think...
Do you have to shave your head every morning?
How do I know?
Well, how would I know?
How would I know?
I know.
Well, that's right.
He's gone.
He's gone.
Well, he hasn't gone, has he? He's just said he's going to step down.
But they never step down. They all get a job somewhere, don't they? There'll be a consultant on some...
Well, he might have a problem, because if you remember, he was removed as chairman of the Conservative Party because he hadn't mentioned when he was Chancellor that he was being investigated by HMRC. It's the sort of thing you forget very easily when you're Chancellor of the Exchequer. You're raising taxes on other people, but yours...
Sorry, what was that noise he made?
He's not quite as camp as that, but...
Well, you are.
Yeah.
I got a letter from HMRC, right?
Yeah, ignore it.
You know... No, they wrote to me and they said, "Dear Mr Bailey, we noticed a suspicious drop in your earnings in 2020. Well, duh.
The letter to Baroness Moan says, we noticed a suspicious raise.
Yes, exactly. And now, for all the latest news in the east of England, let's go over to Sean Peel, who seems to be operating the auto cue with his foot.
Charlie Nagger, thank you. Good morning. I'm Sean Peel. In the local elections, it's been a bad night for the Conservative... It's been a bad night for the Conservative. They've lost more than 30 councillors across the 6 authorities where overnight counting took place. In Peterborough, which recently... I do apologise, we seem to be having some problems this morning.
One BBC presenter made a bit of a slip when she referred to the top election expert, John Curtis, as Richard Curtis. Although... I mean, to be fair, the Tories had just lost Notting Hill and Dibley East, so fair enough. This week, top sword wrangler Penny Mordaunt tried to play... What? Penny Mordaunt, the one that held the thing.
That's the worst.
I know! Penny Mordaunt played down rumours that she is to be installed in number 10 rather like a new boiler. Others insist it could happen as soon as next Thursday, although they can't say whether it be morning or afternoon. Paul and Deliso, take a look at this.
Right, if I was a little bloke, I wouldn't walk through big doors. That's the first thing I say. There we... Oh, look, why did they do that stupid walk? Oh, hello, who's this? Stephen Seagal,
Stephen
is it?
Seagal?
Yeah.
Bloke in the middle with the natural-looking hair. Yes, so this is, much to everybody's surprise, Vladimir Putin has become, whichever he is, President, Prime Minister, Lord and Ruler of Russia, again for the 5th time.
Yes, a shock win.
Result.
Shocking,
Yeah.
shocking. And still all the pomp and circumstance.
They can do a rigged election pretty well, can't they?
Pretty well. And look, I'm African and they're top-notch.
Yeah.
whole other level.
Seagal, what was he doing there? Steven Seagal,
I love the
why
fact
is he there?
that a washed-up action star is now a prop to Putin, and I think we need more of this. Each nation should have one as their champion.
Yeah. There's a picture of Seagal here. He has been on the old Just for Men, you know.
Just for Raccoon, I mean...
He's just... Look at it. He looks a bit like Ming the Merciless there.
Yeah.
There you go. I would say that Ming the Merciless's moustache, beard and headgear are more convincing. Yeah, Putin had a very long walk to get to the ceremony. Do you want to have a look at it?
Yeah, go on, then.
Go on, then. Let's have a look at it. So here he goes. Around the corner, so walk there. So I walk down here.
Long walk to
Building up
freedom.
a big static charge on that carpet.
Rather reminiscent of a sequence in The Shining, I think.
Yes. Well, we'll come back to that.
Yeah.
So, did you notice anything peculiar in that ceremony?
Big doors.
Everything.
Yes. The guards.
2 of them walking along, yeah.
Well, they did something odd, though.
When he came through the doors, they
They
started
do a
leaning.
weird... Yes. They look at him in a funny way.
Oh, I wouldn't be doing that.
Well, no, I mean... Ooh, hello.
Yeah.
It's a bit camp, though, isn't it? Do you think it's like, oh, look at him, who's he think he is? You know, it just looks... There's another one who's coming through a door, and this soldier does a weird leaning thing here.
I mean, he might well end up being arrested for being tall.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Putin is still on his long walk.
Yeah, go on, then.
Let's have a... Still going, not far now, mate.
He keeps changing the constitution, so at this rate, he's still going to be in charge of Russia when he's 83. Can you imagine any other country having...
Staying with authoritative world leaders, what have we learned about Donald Trump this week?
Way too much.
Yes. Oh, God.
Like,
yes.
this was Stormy Daniels was cross-examined in the trial.
Yep.
Spoke rather graphically about their sexual encounter.
Yeah.
Although the defence have successfully argued for some of the salacious details to be withheld, so there's stuff we're not allowed to hear.
Yeah. I mean, I listened to as much as there was, and
Why does it sound like an ashamed admission?
But he acted some of it out.
a lot of detail was missing. So when Stormy Daniels spanked Trump with a rolled-up magazine, they didn't say which one.
Yeah.
That's true.
Someone said it was Forbes magazine, and they said it wasn't them. They've disowned the spanking incident. I mean, all that marketing potential wasted on Forbes.
He said this week, I've just found out who the witness is tomorrow. They didn't tell us who it was going to be. Here I am, accused of having an affair with Stormy Daniels, and who should turn up? Well, that's the same woman.
Yeah. Did you hear how the BBC's correspondent Sarah Smith described the mood?
He had to listen to her admit she had publicly called him an orange turd.
And his lawyers didn't do any favors because they asked, who did you mean when you said orange turd? Obviously, Donald Trump.
Yeah.
If he wears one of those orange suits, he'll face completely disappear, won't it? He'll just look like an empty suit walking around.
Trump's lawyers said the one thing we don't want to discuss is genitalia. And given that it's about whether they had sex or not, I thought this is going to come up, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, your joke. You did that.
Go on, get out.
Appalling.
Filthmongers. The reasonable man speaking.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Grow up. Come on, grow up,
And you
everyone.
made him seem like a smutty 7-year-old schoolboy.
By the way, let's see how Putin's getting on.
Yeah, go on, how's he getting on?
Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's still going. Go on, mate. Just down the stairs, straight on. Keep going. It's been a busy week for the world's top men. President Xi of China, what's he been up to?
He's visiting Europe, isn't he?
That's correct.
Was it Germany he was in?
A state visit to France.
France, yes.
Yep.
According to Reuters, China and France have now agreed a deal, which should boost pork exports by 10%.
Oh,
hold on.
I know what's coming.
Someone else get here first.
Oh, I know what's coming.
In December, I'll be in Beijing, opening up new pork markets.
Doesn't get any better.
So, to round two, it's time for the picture spin quiz.
Yeah.
Fingers on buzzers, teams.
Oh, yes. I saw this story. This is about hanging baskets, isn't it? In Cambridgeshire, is it? And suddenly they're not allowed to tie hanging baskets to lampposts because of the so-called risk of having an electric shock. Health and safety gone mad.
Health and safety gone mad, yes, exactly right. Cambridgeshire County Council told residents that hanging floral baskets from lampposts is reckless behaviour. And they can only do it if they attend a £165 health and safety course. The president of the Chatteris in Bloom Floral Festival, Susan Unwin, she's come up with a solution to this problem. Can you imagine what that might be?
They're not going to hang any baskets?
Well, she said she'll just hold them up herself.
Good for her.
Who else has made the news for complaining to the local council here? No, this is a serial complainer, David Fairchild, who has been dubbed the Weasenham Whinger. Here he is.
He doesn't, in this picture, seem like a complainer. He seems so happy.
He complained that a new complaints policy created by the local council unfairly targets him. He said the new policy allows them to limit communication with any parishioner who uses abusive language, sends too many emails, or questions the integrity of councillors. And how did David describe this policy? He said it was 4 pages of trollop.
That's Anthony.
Yes. Whoa, what? What complaints has David made to the council? No.
No.
Neighbours.
He made 31 complaints, incorrect invoicing, grass cutting without supporting documentation. And then, as a result of his complaints, the entire parish council resigned.
He's effective.
Yeah, quite effective.
Can he start complaining to the Tories tomorrow?
Here's a picture of Mr. Fairchild in his office. Surrounded by bottles of whiskey, I'm going to guess mainly drunk by his wife. So,
You'll be getting a letter of complaint from her.
well, yes. All right, time now for the odd one out round. Just one between you this week. They are North Yorkshire Council, Daniel Defoe, calligrapher Stephanie von Verten-Gill, and boulanger Rodolphe Landemaine.
Isn't that the guy who has shocked France with his vegan croissant?
Yes. He's actually kind of extraordinary shock. He's left the butter out.
Everybody has left something out. So North Yorkshire in the news for leaving out the apostrophes on road signs.
Ah, yes.
Oh, okay.
She is the woman who did the coronation roll.
Yes.
And there was a story about she didn't dot one of the I's.
That's correct.
Daniel Defoe, he used to be called Daniel Foe, and then he shoved a dirt
So
in.
he's added something in.
He's added something in.
No, that is the correct answer. Yes, well done.
Oh,
Very,
well,
very
we
good.
got
Yes. Absolutely right. They've all left something out, apart from Daniel Defoe, who added the de to make him sound a bit more aristocratic, a bit posher. So let's have a look at North Yorkshire Council.
Yes.
Because they actually have, as you say, removed some apostrophes and...
St Mary's Road, I think, was one.
That's right, St Mary's Walk. And viewers of a grammatical disposition now look away because... Oh,
Okay,
no.
right.
Yeah, that's a job for the Weason and Whinger. There he goes. How are the critics of this scheme getting their own back to try and sort of fix this?
With a felt tip pen, surely.
Yeah, they're using permanent markers to put apostrophes, hyphens and ampersands back on the signs.
Phew.
Look, here we go. There's the locals there. See? You see? Yeah. There, look at that. Why have they made this ridiculously unpopular decision?
Because they've got an incredibly old computer system that can't handle apostrophes.
Yeah, that's basically it. Yes. It causes confusion with their computer systems.
I found out a couple of years ago that all British nuclear submarines run on, like, Windows 98, and they can't update the operating system.
Oh, my God.
It's better if you don't think about it.
I didn't know there were windows on a submarine. I didn't know that.
What did royal calligrapher Stephanie von Verten-Gill leave out of the King's coronation roll?
A dot on the I, or was it crossing a T?
It was a single dot on the I at the very end. It was an extraordinary piece of work. It stretches for 69 feet. It took her 56 continuous days to inscribe the 11,500 words in copperplate, and it was unfurled in front of them. Charles commented that it goes for miles. Speaking of going on for miles, let's have a look about Putin. That's where he's got to.
Oh, Vladimir.
Come on, man. He's still there.
We believe in you.
Come on, just through that door, mate. Straight on. Now, we were talking about the bloke with the vegan croissant.
Yeah.
Cookery teacher Olivier Boudot said, "It's difficult for me to even talk about it." Yeah, they've all have left something out, apart from Daniel Defoe, who he correctly identified, added something to his name to make himself more aristocratic. According to the Daily Mail, protesters in North Yorkshire are now using permanent markers to put apostrophes, hyphens and ampersands back on road signs. They're also chanting, "What do we want?" question mark. Our punctuation back. What do we want it? Question mark. Ellipsis. Now, full stop. On to the coronation. At the end of the ceremony, King Charles is handed the coronation roll. It was a bit mean. His mum got the whole chicken. So... It's time now for the Missing Words round, which this week features as its guest publication SUP Mag. This is the magazine for people who like to do stand-up paddleboarding in Britain's seas and rivers. And lucky for them, every issue now comes with a free packet of Imodium. So, we start with, have you ever tried to what on a plane? It isn't easy.
get anywhere.
Take your paddleboard on a plane.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, well done.
Get a 14-foot paddleboard on a plane. It isn't easy. This is Holly Pye, who explains that if you're planning on flying with your paddleboard, you must have a backup plan in case you're not allowed on the plane. Surely the paddleboard is the backup plan, isn't it? Next. If you suddenly hear a loud, aggressive buzzing noise in your garden, what?
It could be a special hornet from South Africa, South America, South London.
It could be a cockchafer.
Oh.
What are they?
Well,
Tight underpants, aren't
yeah,
they?
cockchafer.
Can you look it up? Can you look up tight underpants?
Next, fat stick hard case is one of the best.
Rap artists currently on the scene.
If only that were true, Ian.
The first bit of that sentence was extremely current, but the second bit, currently on the sea.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
I lost confidence
I know.
halfway through.
One of the top paddleboarders.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
It's one of the top paddle boards on the market.
Yeah.
Yes. This is from an interview with the SUP mag Gavin Knox, who says he's been paddling for over 12 years. Strong current. Finally, Lord Williams of Oystermouth thinks what are boring?
Normal names.
Something happens in church.
Praying.
Hymns, yes.
Oh, hymn.
Oh, yes.
It's saying that hymns sung today are boring.
Oh,
This is the previous Archbishop, is it?
That's right, Rowan Williams. He's
Why does he
now
call himself Oystermouth?
I think it's just an affliction, isn't it?
a bit gritty and he's got a pearl in one corner.
That's it, yeah. And it's very difficult to open.
The former Archbishop of Canterbury, Rowan Williams, has said too many church services are accompanied by songs people hear at primary school. Nothing wrong with that. We cremated our Auntie Elsie to the tune of My Friend Billy and the 10-Foot Willie.
He didn't need a paddleboard, did he?
The final scores are Ian and Helen have 7, Paul and Deliso 6. But before we go, there's just time for the caption competition.
RAF cutbacks severely hit the Red Arrows display team.
On which note, we say thank you to our panellists, Ian Hislop and Helen Lewis, Paul Merton and Deliso Chaponda. And I leave you with the news that as record winds hit New York City, Donald Trump is told his wig may have blown further away than he thought. In Wakefield, one woman gasps in horror as she realises, out of politeness, she accidentally asked another question. And on a military exercise on the Rhine, one German recruit mishears the command, "Advance, without the Panzers!" Good night.
There's always room for new comedy. Michael Spicer's No Room is a laugh a minute on BBC Sounds. And if you make a good first impression, we'll always have you back. A brand new series of The Young Offenders is next on BBC One.